And Aubrey and Will, we're here on a special Wednesday edition. Still Monday if you're watching the video. Because it's Thanksgiving week.
It is Thanksgiving week.
Yes, and I'm so thankful for you. Can I start with that?
Thank you. No, seriously, and if I may also be equally cheesy, I am thankful for you, Aubrey. Like, legit. No, seriously, you're one of my favorite people in the world, and I'm so glad this is a year that we got to become friends. And look, it is Thanksgiving week. What's your traditional Thanksgiving like?
Well, my traditional Thanksgiving in the last few years has been spending the morning in O'Hare Airport.
Yeah.
So what, this is Wednesday. Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting that like Thanksgiving, I think over time changes. Like growing up, my Thanksgiving was always meet up with my cousins and play video games all day. And then eventually dinner's ready. And now my Thanksgiving is a mix between like meet up with essentially like my long-term college friends in Chelan, which is like wine country out east in Washington, or go over to my mom's house. She's like 45 minutes away. And my sister just cooks this gigantic feast where there's no way I can eat everything, but I try to anyway. But it's interesting because like Thanksgiving is now always tied to AEW. And I know we're in Chicago because that's where Tony's family is. And I feel like that's just a part of my Thanksgiving now. Like,
Yeah. I mean, this is what all but 1 year you had to spend Thanksgiving in Chicago.
that's right. Yeah, that Jacksonville year.
Because of the one Jacksonville year. Yeah, I'm pretty much kind of the same way in that. So we have the house that hosts Thanksgiving, so it is always
Stressful.
I don't know if it's stressful. I have fun with it, but also it's probably because, like, as far as the food is concerned, I'm probably doing the least. I'm like moving stuff around and preparing things, and then I've always got a football game going in the background, and then people start showing up. My brothers show up. My parents come in, and all of that. And so Thanksgiving has always been. It's actually my favorite holiday. No joke.
Same.
Look at us.
Hey, I wonder why we're friends.
But legit, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. And like because I know there's Christmas people, my wife's a big Halloween person. But for me, I love food. That's one thing. And
I'm literally looking at a mirror right now.
yeah, like I love food and I love good conversation and I love being around people I love. And so like to get to do that, I'd love more reasons to do that in the year, but to we have the day off. We get to sit around and just talk and eat and have a good time. And then my go-to tradition is the movie Addams Family Values. And specifically because of the Thanksgiving play at the end, the Eat Us. Hey, it's Thanksgiving Day. That whole play, like, because of that, we have to watch that movie every Thanksgiving. And, like, my kids now recognize it as, like, a Thanksgiving tradition. My kids, like, it just kind of started as a bit of a gag of, like, hey, I want to watch Addams Family Value and see the Thanksgiving play. And now my kids, like, they're like, all right, Dad, it's time. Let's throw on Addams Family Values. And, like, it became this, like, tradition in our house. And so Thanksgiving is a period that I'm always looking forward to. By the time you're listening to this, I'll probably be watching Addams Family Values and enjoying my favorite scenes. And so, I'm a really, really big Thanksgiving guy.
So we're here to wish everyone who listens to this podcast happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving. I mean, we talk a lot about things that we're thankful for. There's a couple things I'm not thankful for. There's a couple people at AEW that I absolutely hate. And unfortunately, Will, I think we have an interesting podcast guest today.
Okay, so today's guest. I recognize I'm going to have to play a little bit of peacemaker here.
You might have to.
I might have to. So just for today, I would like to keep this one civil. I would like to keep this one in order. I would like to keep this one professional, if you can, Aubrey.
Oh, I like that you call me out.
Oh, yes, I'm calling you out.
Okay.
Because our guest today is the one and only Karen Jarrett. Karen, thanks for joining us.
I don't even know what the hell I'm doing on here.
I think we're contractually...
I don't know who I am, what I'm doing. Like, am I going to be fined if I cuss on here? Get fined if I cuss on, like...
It's generally okay. Like, I've been trying to avoid it more.
I've just not answered emails. I've not responded.
I'm just like, I got the invite from Stacy for this podcast. I'm like, is this a contractual obligation? Do I have to talk to this bitch? Like, I really don't want to.
Yeah, pretty much Jeff said I had to do it.
Yeah, it's like, all of us are just collectively sighing, like, fine, we'll get through this.
How long do we have to be on here for? How long?
Too long.
Yeah.
Too long.
Yeah.
Look, all right, you guys. This is great. This is great having you both in one place. Like, legit, it is.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Like, before we go any further, like, why is Tony Schiavone's name still on this podcast?
Oh, we're fixing it. We have a new theme song coming. It's great.
The fix is so good.
Oh,
because
the new theme song is
my
incredible.
blood pressure, I thought, okay, so I got Aubrey on here today. And, Will, I thought, it's going to be you. And then I hear Tony Schiavone, and I'm like, then my blood pressure really went up. Like, really went up. I was like, I did not agree to this shit.
Now, I will say this though, and I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit.
Oh, no.
Because as much as we get wrapped up in who Karen Jarrett is on screen, Karen Jarrett, legitimately one of my favorite people at work. Legitimately one of the kindest people I get. It's like genuinely a joy every time I get to come across Karen Jarrett at work. And
Thank you. See, Aubrey.
She's always kind, always make sure to speak. Like, it's great. It's great. I can't think of a Wednesday that's gone by in the last few months that
since we bonded on the rental car or the hotel shuttle?
on the hotel shuttle. Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
We always make sure we have conversation. It's great. No, I love Karen Jarrett. And Karen, of course, you've been in AEW now almost as long as I have. I think you started like 2 weeks later.
May 21st.
Yeah. It was May 3rd. So pretty close there.
And Jeff just celebrated 1 year.
Yes,
He
he
did.
did. He
He
did.
did.
And so tell me about how that came together and how it was decided on that you would be a part of a team you're very familiar with Jeff and Satnam and Jay and Sanjay.
Yep. Well, it was very last minute when it was decided on.
Oh,
Yeah.
and don't say. Welcome to wrestling.
Right? And I thought it was going to happen maybe sooner than it did when there was some stuff that happened with the Acclaimed.
Mm-hmm.
And I know different ideas were tossed around backstage. And, Jeff said several times was like, well, I think this may happen. I think that might happen. And, didn't happen. And I guess it was actually Dax kept pushing for it from what I've heard. So we have him to thank for me showing up.
Oh, God, I liked him.
And
Now not so much.
Oh, here we go. Well, maybe if you would have stayed out of my husband's business, I would have never showed up.
I was just doing my job. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so
that's
it
my
like
alibi.
literally, I think it was like 36 hours before
Wow.
we were told, hey, we need you there.
I think the first time we met in person was actually backstage at Revolution a couple months before. I was doing Jeff's tag match as I normally do. And I think you walked up to me, you're like, hey, I'm going to be a huge bitch on Twitter. I'm like, okay, everything I've heard about her is correct. Just in that one sentence.
Yeah. Well,
And at the same time, I'm
don't
like,
touch my husband.
I have to look, you know what? I'm just trying to keep everyone in line.
Don't
I'm
interfere
just-
in his matches. Don't go into business for yourself
don't
and
put this
other
on
people.
me. Don't put this on me. Look, okay. So it's there's always like a couple things that are inevitable in wrestling. And I think like anytime Jeff Jarrett is on screen, it's like, okay, Karen's gonna get here eventually. Like even when we had him on the podcast, I think one of the questions was like, are we gonna see Karen? He's like, just wait. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, no, that's a rhetorical question.
You
We all
weren't
know
very
the answer.
happy about that at that time.
No, I think there was like a run-in happening and I was on the outside and I see you kind of come in and I just literally yell, oh, this bitch. And someone in the crowd in the front row just looks at me and just starts laughing. Like,
Yes.
this is one
But
of
I
those
have to
moments.
say, I compare Aubrey, and we're having fun on here, but I absolutely love working with you.
Dude,
and-
okay. Yeah. Like, can I say this now? Like, you're one of my literal favorite people at
Yes.
work. And I'm just like,
Yes. I compare it to or how it makes me feel is when I worked with Velvet Sky.
oh, yeah.
Like we would go at it and we would be nasty. And then we'd like, Jeff was going to punch me for this, probably. I'd be like, oh. But like, as soon as you get in the back, like that's the first person you're looking for to thank. And like, you know, just so fun. So fun.
Or one of my favorite things, like more recently, because I think like we've connected on a, like, we're sort of the people who have been around the block. Like I haven't been in wrestling very long, but having had previous careers, like, and then we kind of see our coworkers who are more younger and immature, and we're just like, okay, let's just go gossip and like talk about all this shit.
You're here to work.
Right. Like, okay, we're here to get stuff done and then we're going to go home. And like you and I are very much in that same mindset. And I'm just like, why are we having a problem doing this? Like, just go up there, go work, and then go home.
Yes. It's not that hard. It is not that hard.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay.
You know,
well, you're probably not going to get to say too much on here.
No, that's okay. No, honestly, I have to say, talking about Jeff for a second, I would say I've been watching Jeff Jarrett pretty much my entire life. And having watched Jeff Jarrett, I had never gotten to see Jeff Jarrett truly in action until I worked in AEW. And what I mean by that is I was in the room for the pitch that got you that brought you on screen.
Oh, and tell me.
And what I find interesting about it is that Jeff Jarrett, again, pulling back the curtain a little bit.
I know this story.
Yeah, but pulling back the curtain a little bit. But Jeff Jarrett is an extremely charming guy. Like Jeff Jarrett will, when he's got something he wants to pitch or some ideas he's got, first thing he's going to do is break down those barriers. You know, he's going to ask you how things are going. He's going to ask you. Yeah, there's nobody at work who asked me about the Denver Nuggets more than Jeff Jarrett, and I love him.
He loves sports, though.
Yeah,
really
so he always knows how to break down the barriers. He knows how to ease his way into a conversation before asking for the thing he's about to ask you for, and I love that about Jeff. It's again, he's got that charm to him. Yeah. And watching where he was getting to, okay, I'm about to pitch bringing my wife on screen, but I need to make sure that, all right, Tony.
Warm the crowd up first.
Yeah, he warms the crowd up. You know, he asks about the Jags, asks about all of that, and make sure that, you know, everything is good, everything's all good. And then it's like, all right, now here we go. Let's do this. And it's great. I love watching Jeff Jarrett in action. It's something that I didn't truly know existed until my time in AEW. Like I should have known. Like in hindsight now, I've gone through and replayed like every single Jeff Jarrett scenario from his career and thinking about how the conversation must have gone to get this going. This is great. This is like literally I love
hearing this because I'm not in those rooms.
Same.
Yeah, so again, what was your first conversation like with Tony Khan?
Gosh, I mean, they're very brief. He's so busy. And extremely. I mean, you know, from being in that room, Aubrey, you know, like you don't really have, I mean, I know people say if they text him or they call him, you know, he always responds, but show days, you do not have access to that man.
No.
There's a handful of people that do. Very nice guy. Always goes out of his way. You guys know him. Most of the time I have Cody there. Always goes out of his way to have a conversation with Cody, which warms my heart, and automatically you're in good with me with that. Very kind. Always thanks me. You know, we have our brief conversations at Gorilla. But Jeff does all that. I'm kind of there, you know, and I do what I'm told. Whatever I'm told is what I do.
Mm-hmm. I think that's honestly why you and I connected so well. Is just we just kind of both know that our roles is we're along for the ride.
Yes.
And at one point,
absolutely,
Jeff comes up to both of us and is just like, okay, so this is what we're doing today. And then he outlines some ridiculous overbooked segment that is absolutely wonderful and amazing. And I remember one time there was one of our most recent on-screen interactions. They had said like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll do this. We'll run around the side. You're going to come out and you're going to push Karen. And I find you in the locker room and I'm like, hey, can't wear that. And you had this like wonderful like dress with heels on. And I'm like, bitch, I'm pushing you down today. And you're like, oh, I got to go find something else to wear. Like, this
I
is
put
how
some shorts on. I covered myself a little bit, you know.
Right. Oh my God.
But yeah, I'll never pretend to know more than what I actually do. Yeah. I mean, I do what I'm told.
Yeah.
You know,
We're along for
like
the
that,
ride.
that's my job. And that's one of the things I have with the younger issues I have with the younger generations, wrestlers, managers, any part of the business. It is a job. We're there getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say no.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I have big issues with people that say no. Like, even when they wanted us to have a match, I may have sent Jay Lethal some text like, I am not a wrestler. Like,
Same.
I didn't ask to be I don't want to be a wrestler,
Same.
but it's what my husband's telling me to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's what Tony wants. We did it.
Yeah. And it was, it was great.
You don't say no.
I want to talk a whole lot more about that because I feel like that is a whole segment in itself. And we're going to have that and more right here when AEW Unrestricted continues. We often talk about some of the many benefits of a workout routine. Looking better, sleeping better, feeling better. But it's hard to maintain variation in your exercises. And when you lose that variation, it's easy to plateau and lose motivation. But with the Fitbod app, you can keep up that momentum and create personalized workouts based on your goals, abilities, and setup, and track your progress along the way. I know this from personal experience. I went on a weight loss journey with the app just last year and have since changed my goals to building muscle, and the app continues to switch up my routines to keep me motivated at the gym. Fitbod creates custom workouts based on your goals, experience, and available equipment to help you build your fitness habit and stay consistent. Fitbod's powerful technology intelligently varies your intensity and volume and tracks muscle fatigue and recovery to design a well-balanced workout routine. And most of all, it's fun. Learn new movements the right way with over 1,000 HD exercise demonstration videos. It's never been easier to get the results you've always wanted. Check out Fitbod. Get 25% off your subscription at fitbod.me/AEW. That's FITBOD.me/AEW. AEW Unrestricted. It's Aubrey, it's Will, and it's the one and only Karen Jarrett. We were talking a little bit about the match.
Yeah.
Again.
What was that?
Literally the
Can
most
we even
painful day of
call
my
it
life.
that? Can we call it that?
Well, okay, so again, this is one of those things. I remember being in the room as this was being discussed. I remember the conversation coming up. Yeah, well, I remember Sanjay talking about this is what we're going to be doing. Aubrey's going to be wrestling it's Aubrey's going to be on our team. Karen's going to be on our team. We got Papa Briscoe, like so many things happening here.
Insanity.
So
Oh my God.
I do have to ask first, and I really of both of you, when you found out you were having this match, what specifically was going through your mind?
So one of the things I love about working with Jeff Jarrett and the team, like Jay, Sanjay, Karen, everybody, is that we're all along for the ride, but everything makes sense in the long run. So when it got pitched that I was going to get hit in the head with a guitar, I think the inevitable thing was, well, what happens next? Because you don't want to just do something for the sake of doing something.
Can we just take a minute and put her over for taking that?
Hold on. I have a story to tell about.
World?
I have a story to tell about that, by the way.
Okay.
So, Double or Nothing. I'm trying to get a whole bunch of stuff going, and I had a guest with me, and so I was like trying to walk that guest around. It was one of our special guests we had, and so I got assigned to bringing this person around,
You're
basically introducing this person to everybody. And I was about to introduce her to Aubrey, and then I see Aubrey talking to Karen, and literally all I hear out of Aubrey's mouth was "swing for the fences." Like that's exactly what she said, and I was like, you know what? They're busy right now. We'll find somebody else right now. And I walked off at that point, but I remember specifically those are the words that came out of your mouth. And so add a little context to that conversation.
Aubrey, do you want to take?
No, you take it. You're the
I was
guest.
a nervous wreck. Like, I'll go out there and be a bitch. I love having fun out there and doing my thing. Hitting somebody with a guitar, that was a lot for me. And I just being out there, I was shaking. Like, if I hurt her, if this messes up her face, if she has to And she's like, do it.
Yeah.
Swing hard, swing for the fences. And I'm like, you're crazy. You are crazy.
So I'm trying to like walk into a situation, like if someone else is giving me an opportunity to help put forward their story, my stance is always like, what's the best way to do this? So I'm having extensive conversations with Jay Lethal about what is not only the best way to do this, but the safest way to do this.
Yeah.
And it's always just swing as hard as you can and put your head down. So I'm like, okay, that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
And we're like psyching each other up. Like, it's okay. We can do this. We can do this. Because you and I, again, see eye to eye on both these things. Like, we know that like we have to do this to help move forward the story in the way that boys want it to move.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I remember later, like telling Dennis Rodman, like, swing for the fences. Like, that's the best way to do it. Like,
Yeah.
literally, that is how you do the guitar without hurting someone.
And you got to follow through, which I
You
don't
really
think
do.
I did with you. But
it was a little like, okay, this could have gone a little bit better, but I think what we did well.
Yeah.
yes, I think
Yes.
so. I mean,
But to kind of continue that scenario, like, obviously everyone's like, oh my God, she's willing to take the guitar shot. I'm like, yeah, like, I
Yes.
just want you guys to have a good day. Like, I want you guys
like,
to
and
tell
you
a good
could have
story.
said, you could have said, no, I'm not
No.
doing that.
But you're
But
there
you
for work.
didn't. You're getting paid to do a
Right.
job.
Right, exactly. And there's not a lot of opportunities for like me to take a bump on TV. So it was inevitable. Oh, Karen's here. This is going to happen. Because we can
You
have
have
a little
messed with my husband multiple times.
Yeah, this all makes sense. This all is
Yeah.
fine. But knowing like, okay, well, we're doing this guitar shot. Where is this going? Is the next obvious question.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff's like watching his mind move and go, okay, hold on. And then fast forward to the part where he's in the room pitching this, and Will's just watching this like charismatic person like talk with his hands and explain everything that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then coming back, he's like, are you willing to have a match? I'm like, I don't wrestle. He goes, it's okay. Neither does Karen. And I'm like, that's not the response.
Yes. And
So-
because I can remember him asking me about it, and we were at home, and I'm like, I'm not a wrestler. Like, I don't wrestle. He's like, you will be fine. You're going to do great. You'll be fine.
So why don't you talk about how that day went? Because I think I've talked about it a little bit on this podcast before.
Oh, I haven't seen that. The day for the match,
Yeah.
totally honest, I was so nervous.
Same.
I don't remember a lot about that day. I do. Jeff made sure that Sarah Stock, produced us and worked with us, because in those types of situations, Jeff and I don't do real well together. You know, like he'll have Jay sometimes communicate things to me that he knows, like, all right, this probably isn't going to go over real well with her. Jay can, the way he communicates with me is much different than the way Jeff does. Because you know Jeff, he's all business. And even though we have a marriage and a professional relationship, sometimes it's hard to separate the two.
Yep.
So stressed. We got there early that day. I mean, we only rolled around 2 hours, maybe trying to put something together. It was a stressful day.
It was so stressful. And I'm pretty certain I accidentally punched you in the face at one point.
Okay, well, we could go back to pre-tapes that people probably aren't aware of this, where I kicked you in the face with my
there was
heel
that.
on. Like, we are not trained wrestlers.
No. And at the same time, there's that moment of like when you do like a pull apart, you want it to feel right. You want to actually feel like you're being pulled physically. You don't, because I think the audience is smart enough now to look at something and know that, oh, this is fake. So you need to put your all into it. And I always hate pull aparts because I'm like, this is where I get hurt.
Yeah.
Because someone's going to like throw an arm out or whatever. And we were doing that pre-tape for Rampage.
Yeah.
Where I come in and just lunge at your neck.
Yeah.
And we were getting pulled apart, and I think your leg just kicked, and I just got nailed right in the chin.
Yeah. Yes.
And like that's just what happens. It's casualty of war. Like that's how a day goes.
Because we don't know what we're doing, we're like, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. For
And I
real.
think-
Do
I
it,
think
lay it
there's
in,
also-
whatever to make it look good.
And we had that talk a little bit about just how women on the internet are criticized a little bit more than men for doing things. And it was like, okay, so one, we don't wrestle. So there's already this pressure of what we do has to be good.
Yeah.
But then this pressure of what we do has to be twice as good because we're going to get we're going to get shit for it online. Like,
Yeah.
let's be real about it.
Torn apart.
Yeah, exactly. So I think both of us were going into that day going, oh God, like what we have to do has got to be good. And I think we
Yes.
only had about 2 minutes in the ring.
Yes.
And
But
you
I
were the
felt
one
like
that took
I
more
was
bumps.
hit by a truck.
Dude, I couldn't walk for 3 days. I was just like, I had so much more appreciation for everyone in the locker room because
Absolutely.
it was terrible. Like I was just
Yes.
walking around like, "Give me a walker.
Yes.
I can't move anymore." And like,
Yes.
literally just like 2 minutes. But one of my most memorable 2 minutes in my career.
Yes.
And I remember being taught how to do a figure four that morning because I literally don't know how to even lock up. Like
Yeah.
like Sarah's shown us how to
We
do
know
air
nothing.
wheels. Nothing
nothing.
at all. So shout out to literally everybody involved in that because
Yeah.
they made us look good. Like
They did.
And I love that you committed because you took far more bumps than I did.
It was fun though. You know,
It
and the
was so fun.
fans, they loved it. Like they loved, and that's what part of me why I love wrestling. And Will, you and I had this conversation. I love the soap opera. I love stories. I want to, and I think that's why I enjoy so much being hated or being a heel. I want to hate somebody. I want to feel sorry for somebody. I want to love somebody, and I want to laugh. I want all those emotions in the show.
And I can tell that you get a little bit of joy out of giving people those moments. Because the one piece I wanted to also talk about, this was not your first match.
No.
Because you actually famously competed in China's final match.
Yeah.
Which saw you actually take a pedigree from China.
Yes. Yes.
And so I wanted to ask about that.
And I can remember walking through the curtain after that match, and AJ Styles was the first person standing there, and he was the last person to tell me, like, you can do this, because we didn't practice that day. That day was a little stressful with her. Her and I did not go over, really, we talked in the back, but we did not go over anything. It was a difficult day. But he was like, you got this. And then when I went through the back, people were standing around, like, they were so proud of me. I felt like a little kid, like, but yeah, that was, I'm not a wrestler.
No. Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember because it's almost 12 years ago to the day. It was Sacrifice 2011, and
Look at you.
Will knows everything.
Yeah,
I love that.
And look, if you that period of TNA is like pretty much burned in my brain. I think I have a lot of that history pretty well memorized. But like I said, it turned out to be extremely significant that obviously we didn't know China was going to pass 5 years later, but in that moment that ended up being what was China's last match. And
I played a little bit of a different character then, because I was running. I was, like that, like, I'm going to talk smack, and then I am scared to death. It was a little different than the character I'm playing now.
Right. It's that whole run for you. Would you call that a little bit of an unexpected run? Did you?
Oh, absolutely. And this, like, I thought, I'll be there for a couple shows, or for the storyline to end with Dax and Cash, through that. And here we are.
Here we are, like months later.
And I love it. I love it. I love it.
It's so great.
And as much shit as there's talked online about our locker room.
Oh, it's great.
I often love our locker room.
Dude, it's so great.
Like, I love the ladies in AEW, and I look forward to walking into that locker room.
It's so wonderful.
We're a little family.
We are.
There's always like that family member that you're like, but I pretty much love everybody. Just kidding.
The goal is just don't be that family member. But other than that,
Aubrey.
Yeah.
Hey, don't put this on me. I thought we were friends now.
We're having a lot of fun here. We're going to have a lot more fun. It's right here, AEW Unrestricted.
AEW AEW Unrestricted, Will Aubrey, and we're talking to this bitch, Karen Jarrett, who, I mean, I had to like...
You love to hate me.
Mrs.
I love to hate me.
Oh God, Mrs. Rarer.
Yes.
So we kind of mentioned before the break that like you figured you were going to come in, finish out the storyline with Dax and Cash.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like whatever. But now you're here, and you're here every week, and you're still kind of involved in everything that they're doing. So what has this been like, seeing as this experience is completely unexpected?
Gosh, well, I love the alone time with Jeff, being with him on the road. And I think our group has everything, you know, like we're a diverse group. And I think we're just tapping into what we are going to do in AEW. You know, Jay, I mean, if you saw his promo last week for Eddie, I think people are starting to see another side of him, the passion that he has. Jeff, like you said, Will, you're just seeing what he really offers to the business or what he can do. He looks the best he has ever looked.
Oh my God.
I mean, he's a maniac. Dieting, working out, and what he puts into looking the way he does. And he has his office job. Sanjay, I mean, I have a hard time keeping composure out there and staying in character because I hear what's coming out of his mouth.
He's so funny.
And oh my gosh, it's so hard not to break around him. But I wish, but he definitely found his calling in this business. I mean,
100%.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we can put him, can you imagine him and Jimmy Hart out there? I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes. We've got Satnam, another giant. I mean, so I'm excited.
No handshake intimidates me more than Satnam.
It's like literally you feel like you're being swallowed up.
Yeah,
I think he does that on purpose.
I know. Every time I see him, he's like, "Hey, Will, good to see you," and then stick his hand down. I'm like, "Here it comes."
Yes.
And then like I lose my hand for all of 3 seconds. But you know, I agree with you. I think that a lot of people don't recognize. But they see it in the moments, but don't recognize exactly what the group is bringing to the table.
Yeah.
When I see things like a few weeks ago where MJF was going around looking for partners. And, of course, then, you know, he turns down the Acclaimed and then turns around and sees you guys. And, like, the instant crowd reaction, the crowd, you know, that moment where they all kind of collectively groan because they're like, oh my God,
The heat feeds my soul. It feeds my soul.
Yeah. And the look on Sanjay's face as he's selling, he's like, come on, buddy. Come on.
So
like,
entertaining.
So great. It was so good.
Yes.
And the value in that, and people don't recognize the value in that heat is so good.
Yes.
And yeah, and it's really come together and come into its own. And of course, now getting to do the stuff with Eddie Kingston and knowing who Eddie is
so good
as a personality, and it's almost in direct contrast to what you guys bring to the table, and it creates such a great dynamic. And I think you were kind of the missing piece there all that time, because you know you mentioned the stuff with the Acclaimed at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
You kind of existed in the backdrop in a sense, because even though you weren't on screen, you were kind of the major catalyst to everything that was happening there.
Correct. Cheap heat that Max used in that, but you know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But in a sense, it brought you kind of it made it so that you existed kind of this entire time, as a part of what was all going on there, and so it made your
they were missing a female.
Yeah,
They really were.
They really were.
And I think like that's the thing that I love most about that group is they're all so different, but everyone, Jeff, you, Sanjay, Jay, Satnam, like everyone just complements each other so well. And like when I got involved and Mark Briscoe got involved, like there was just so much that it's like this works on paper more so than it like does on screen. It's like, oh yeah, no, like we just knew immediately this was going to work.
And I mean, Satnam's new to the business or new to the group, and you know, but had a basketball career. But Jay Sanjay, Jeff, myself, like, to succeed in this business, you have to understand getting other people over. And that's what they want. You know, if you're getting someone else over, you're elevating yourself at the same time. They're very selfless in this business.
Extremely so.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just all of them. So they're all great people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
On screen, I hate them all and you so much, because it's
Thanks.
anytime you get a little bit of Jeff Jarrett on screen, there's just this collective groan when everyone's hearing the wee woo,
Yeah.
wee woo.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's so good. It's he.
Although I have to say, by the way, a shout out Mikey Ruckus, because I have to give credit into the fact that, like, I'm like 50-50 on wrestling mashups, right? Like, when we get good mashup themes, like a good one like Adam Cole and MJF can work, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, I think the Jay Lethal Jeff Jarrett mashup
So good.
is
Perfect.
excellent. I like
So
when
good.
I can't even hear Jeff Jarrett's normal theme anymore, because
Yes.
now I'm expecting the Jay Lethal pieces to kick in. It's
Yes.
actually an excellent mashup. One of my favorites.
Yes.
It's so
Yep.
good. So you've been around for a lot of actually really important moments in AEW's history, just given like when you came in and the craziness that was this summer with Collision starting, with
Yes.
All In. What has it been for you to be a part of this moment in wrestling?
At this age as well.
Sure. I wasn't going to say that, but yeah.
Hey, bring it. Hey, I embrace, I just celebrated a birthday, 51 years old. I embrace all of it. Some people don't get to live to be 51. I'm 51. Jeff's 56. We are thriving, living our best life. Like, I feel like you got to embrace it. Don't think of it as a negative. It's a positive. I'm excited. I mean, and really the company's still new. 4 years is not a long time. And there's so much room for growth. And well, I'm going to get on the online world a little bit and the dirt sheets. They love to talk shit on all the companies, but how amazing is it to be a part of a company that has 3 shows?
Yes. It's wild.
I mean, the opportunity for talent, for crew, for production, everybody involved it's unbelievable. So I'm very excited. Very excited.
It was one of those things where, like, just to think about, like, I was at All In, and one of the things kind of going through my mind is thinking about all of the people that were involved in that show and how we had all worked hard to get there. And then I loved that you guys got to have the segment with Grado.
Yes.
Yes, so great.
So good.
So what was that
good.
like for you?
Oh my gosh, I love Grado. Like he's a little extended part of our family. We've got a lot of history with him. And so just to be, even that, it was the pre-show, and I was grateful to be any part of that show and just to be there. I know some people are like, oh, it's the pre-show.
Doesn't matter.
Who cares? Like, who cares? You're a part of the show. So fun. The social media response from that side of the world, unbelievable. And just, I hope we get to work with him again in the future. So fun.
Yeah, I again, just being a part of the conversation of that all coming together. Was so
okay,
great.
so see, I'm gonna come find you now that I know you're in there.
Will's got
when
all
he's
the
in
dirt.
there. I want all the dirt on
The
what my
honest-
husband's kitchen.
But honestly, again, just watching it come together, and because I know, there was so much online hype going into it, and
Yes.
everybody just wanted to see this happen. And
The radio spot that they did where he slapped, like Cody and I were like, Dad, you were so aggressive. Like that was brutal. But it was so entertaining, so good.
it was so good, and again, just building that anticipation, building that hype,
Yes.
and getting everybody wanting to see this moment to the point of where when it finally did happen, and you listen to that crowd erupt, and like people were just
Yeah.
making their way in, and Paul White's involvement, like all of that was just, I thought it was great stuff, and I think, that my only contribution to that segment, I will tell you. one tiny little contribution I got to have creatively, which was the fact that it had been so long since we had Paul White on screen. And of course, a lot about our production had changed since then. For example, we have Mike Mansouri now. And Mike Mansouri, of course, came in since Paul White's last appearance. And so Mike Mansouri was not aware that we actually had theme music for Paul White that also was sung by the guy who sang Paul White's WWE theme. And so it was like, oh, wait, not only do we have a theme for him, it's a recognizable theme. Oh, man. So like it was, as this was all coming together, I'm like, wait, we have a Paul White theme. And that was like my only contribution to that at all. And
it's
I'm glad
a contribution, though. It's a good one.
So, well, mainly because like that was the moment, right? Where like the music hits and then all of a sudden everybody came to their feet. And pro wrestling fans all over the world are inherently nostalgic, no matter what it is. Wrestling fans will always look back on things fondly. And so I say all that to say that when it comes to any type of negativity today, just recognize that those negative emotions, negative feelings, those don't stand the test of time. They are gone by the time people look back, because when it comes to wrestling fans, they tend to only look at the stuff they remember positively. Yeah. And so I've had this outlook for the last couple of years where anything I don't like today, anything that I feel isn't working today, I'm like, that feeling's gonna blow away in the wind, because I'm gonna look back at this moment in 10 years. I'm gonna look on YouTube and I'm gonna scroll the comments and I'm gonna see somebody go, "Oh, I remember this. This is from my childhood." Like there's stuff I thought was awful from like 20 years ago, right? Stuff I thought was just the hokiest stuff, terrible. Blah, blah, blah. I go find it on YouTube. I scroll the comments and I see nothing but feelings of nostalgia and people going, "Oh, this is great. This is my childhood. I love it." And so that's the thing. That's what my takeaway from that is. Pro wrestling will always have a lasting memory in people's hearts. And when it comes to any type of feelings of negativity in the current moment, always think about that. Think about how it's going to be received and remembered in the future.
Yeah. We all like something different.
We do.
Know? And I think it's amazing. There's, the independent scene, multiple companies blowing and going. The opportunity is endless for people at this stage in the game, in the wrestling business.
And it's one of those things where I think, just kind of feed off of what Will's saying, you guys are so hated on screen. And I think in 10 years, people will look back and go, "Man, they were so good."
Yeah.
Like, this was so wonderful.
Yeah, that's why when I say the hate feeds my soul, it feeds my soul.
Yeah. It's so wonderful. Just because you're just a heartless bitch. It's fine.
But behind the scenes, I'm not.
No, you're a wonderful person behind the scenes. On screen, I couldn't hate anyone more. I am so happy we were able to chat with you today, despite my best efforts. You got on and it was great.
Well, I avoided emails for as long as I could.
Yeah.
It's one of those. Did you accidentally open it and then realize that there's no turning back now?
Well, I told Jeff that Stacy sent an email again, and he's like, "You really do have to do it."
Yep.
And
okay. Yeah. Just collective sigh. Okay, I think we'll get through this. The worst 45 minutes of my life, but whatever. I think we did it. I am so happy we got to talk to Karen today. She's honestly truthfully one of my favorite people I see at work every week. I'm just so excited every time she walks in the locker room, the friggin' smoke show that she is. And just thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah,
this has been an awesome conversation.
It was fun.
It was. And you can listen to new episodes of AEW Unrestricted every Thursday, all of your favorite podcast platforms. New episodes on Monday on our podcast channel. Just look it up on YouTube so you can see just all of these amazing people on the screen that I get to share time with. It's so great. Dynamite every Wednesday, TBS. Rampage every Friday, TNT. Collision every Saturday, TNT. I am Aubrey Edwards with Will Washington and Karen Jarrett. Thank you so much for listening to AEW Unrestricted.